Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here with IIMFL Smart Money Alliance. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, March 30th, 2021. Excited to visit with you all today. And we have a pretty significant announcement that will impact you if you're a current branch manager slash joint venture partner or a prospective one. So I would argue it applies to everyone. So we're going to go through a little bit of the background of this announcement, go through the process, and then certainly answer the questions, comments, concerns that each of you have. So in terms of what we're going to talk about today, we're going to eliminate the fees to be a joint venture partner. Again, it used to be called branch manager, and then it morphed into a joint venture partner. So this is applicable regardless of which of those labels you associate with. Our goal in creating the branch slash joint venture role is to identify business development partners that are economically committed, that are engaged, so we have consistent education and awareness building in the marketplace. We're consistently enrolling clients to help fulfill our mission, which also generates great cash flow for the branch manager slash joint venture partners. And it's frankly had some mixed results. And so we feel very optimistic about this tweak that eliminates the financial burden to you as a branch manager and or a joint venture partner, but also will allow us to help more clients. And that's the ultimate goal. How do we help more clients to fulfill our mission? So first paragraph here, and I'll slide this page down as we go along. Effective April 1st, and no, it's not an April Fool's Day, but April 1st, we're going to start waiving the joint venture slash branch manager fees for those of you that are active. And we're going to define active, but active in helping us fulfill our mission and to increase the fundability of access to capital clients. That might be a confusing statement. I realize that. So that's why I added this section here. So what do you and I know? You and I know that if someone wants money to start or grow a business, we've got to decide, is it going to be debt-based or equity-based? Could be a combination of the two. Debt is money that we borrow and we promise to pay back. It could be lines of credit, could be term loans, could be a revolving. But the bottom line is debt is one category. In contrast, there's equity, and that's where investors give us money and we don't have to pay them back, but we share future profits. Well, if we're going to go after debt, then what you and I know, and again, you and I know it like it's the back of our hand, but I promise you that many entrepreneurs don't know 1/100th of what you know. And they just think, oh yeah, I want 100,000 or I want $250,000. Yeah, just sign me up. I'll take that money. Well, that's too good to be true, right? The premise is you have to meet at least one of the 3 C's, which is listed here. And the 3 C's are what? Creditworthiness, cash flow, collateral. In a perfect world, you have all 3 C's, but it's not required. You need to have at least one of the 3 C's to borrow money. And so often we'll have clients that come to us and they have none of their own 3 C's, and they are still expecting funding right away. It's like a bizarro world. And then they get mad and get angry. They'll even say ugly things because they can't get funding yet. Remember, our premise, we're not a lender, we're a technical advisor. We allow clients to enroll in the Access to Capital program regardless of credit score, regardless of time in business. We guarantee them at least $100,000 capital raise. But we clarify, and it's clearly stated in the agreement as well, we're going to have to help you get from where you're at to where you need to be to get qualified. Just by signing up with us doesn't suddenly make you qualified for 100,000. That's way too good to be true. That's unrealistic. That's not implied and certainly not explicitly stated. We're going to work with you. So what does that mean? We have to help these people. If they don't have any of the 3 C's, they're going to have to be able to accomplish having at least one of the three C's, or we can't borrow money. We would either have to address one of the three C's or move them onto an equity-based capital raise. All right, so we all know that's a redundant topic, right? You can't borrow money if you don't have at least one of the three C's: creditworthiness, cash flow, collateral. We're here to help them get from wherever they're at to where they need to be, so they do have at least one of the three C's. Well, of the three C's, next paragraph, credit is probably the best one to focus on in general for someone that has none of the three C's. Well, why is that? Well, credit's fluid. So it's constantly changing, which is to our benefit, right? We can help it change good. And that's what we're talking about here. Credit has no memory. So you could have really poor credit in the past, but it could become very good. You can move from subprime to prime quickly, and the world doesn't remember that you're a subprime. So that's good. And then it's the quickest to dramatically improve. Let's go ahead and dig a little deeper. So we got the three C's. Credit, we just talked about why it is a good candidate to manipulate. I mean that legally and ethically. Credit is probably the best C to manipulate because it's fluid, has no memory, and it's the quickest. Well, why don't we do cash flow? Well, it'd be great to help clients generate more cash flow, and we'll do all that we can to do that. But for example, for cash flow, they look at the last 3 months of bank statements. Well, so cash flow does have a memory, doesn't it? Because if 3 months ago your cash flow was poor, that is not forgotten. But if your credit was poor 3 months ago, no one knows because they're looking at the credit report now. And of course, collateral is one that's not easy to manipulate. So what we're going to do, second sentence here, is we're going to prioritize helping entrepreneurs become capital ready by having better credit and offering you an outstanding economic benefit to get actively engaged. And again, some of you are actively engaged, but some of you aren't. So this is a carrot, not a stick, a carrot, a positive incentive to encourage and help enable those of you that want to earn an adult income by helping other people through the model. Okay, so let's move on. We'll certainly recap and answer questions that you all have. So let's get to the process. So what is this process? This is the process of what you would need to do if you want to be a branch manager and or a joint venture partner. Those are kind of converged now. Your agreements might say one or the other, but essentially this addresses both. If you want to be in that leadership role, have those economic incentives, be able to mentor clients, be more involved, but you don't want to have the cost. You don't want to have the investment. So here is the process, and it's not complicated. It's 3 steps. Let's go through it. Of course, it starts with you or your team going out and educating and creating awareness. Since we know that a lot of entrepreneurs that don't have access to capital, don't have the 3 C's, we see that consistently. Those of you that have been mentoring, some of you are banging your heads against your desk because you're getting so many clients that have none of the 3 C's. So what we're going to do is really go out and educate about the 60-day credit sweep program. And I'll show you how that ties into access to capital in just a moment. So we need to educate and create awareness. We had a session yesterday talking about where you can get credit leads. We gave you, I think, 4 different sources. Last week, we talked about and provided you content and scripting for doing postings for credit. So I believe that we've been active in showing you and training you how to generate leads on credit. And now we're talking about the benefits of applying that. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, what you'll do is you're going to use the white label offering. If that's a foreign concept, then you may want to go back and revisit some of the prior trainings. But what the white label means in brief is that you're taking the 60-day credit sweep program out to the market under your own umbrella. So it's under your branding, under your promotion. And that gives you some benefits. One of the benefits is that you can price it at whatever level you want. And we'll come more to that in a moment, which of course impacts your income. But what we're looking to do is for each branch manager / joint venture partner that's participating in this incentive program to enroll at least 3 clients a week. That is not difficult, right? We have ballpark 100 million Americans across the country with subprime credit. We have a unique offering whereby it's not credit repair, it's legal, it's ethical, it's fast, and it works. It's guaranteed. So in terms of being able to help people that are credit challenged become not credit challenged, so now they can qualify for business loans, which is our primary bread and butter, but also for mortgages, automobiles, other types of financing, there's a tremendous need. We don't really have any direct competitors doing this. We have almost an infinite number of indirect competitors, right? Because we're not credit repair. We don't want to be credit repair. Many of you do credit repair. That's awesome. You keep doing what you do. But from a credit sweep, a legal, ethical, transparent, guaranteed credit sweep, I don't think that there are any national players in that space. So it is a ripe opportunity with lots of demand and limited supply. Okay, so step 3 then is, so again, let's summarize. So you got to create awareness. We've talked about how you can get leads. So they're getting leads is no longer a problem. Then you'll use the white label offering to enroll at least 3 clients a week. And then once the clients are enrolled in the white label version of the 60-day credit suite, all you're going to do is wait a week or so and then circle back with them and say, hey, by the way, Kwong or Darnell or Dion or Greg or James, John, Joseph, Kenny, Marcelina, Bernard, Beatrice, Barry, Anthony, Anna Marie, or any other name, insert whatever name you want. Thanks again for enrolling into the 60-day credit suite. Looks like you're well on your way to much better credit in a short period of time. Did you know that you can also access a guaranteed $100,000 through a 501c3 through a grant subsidized program? There's no cost to enroll. It's called Access to Capital. Let's go ahead and get that process started. And whether you currently have a small business or don't have one yet, we can get you lender compliant, build your loan package, and help you use that better credit that you're about to get to be able to get even more funding. You're going to find, into role play, you're going to find a lot of people are interested in that, right? Because they fall into either one of 2 categories. Either they're an entrepreneur or a possible entrepreneur. Now, if they're a possible entrepreneur, it's certainly possible that they have no interest in that. And so this is not too good to be true. Not everyone will enroll in Access to Capital. But when you explain that this is a logical next step, okay, you're already in Credit Suite, that process has started. Now let's talk about how you can get the maximum benefit from your better credit. Let's go ahead and get you in this Access to Capital program, no upfront cost, guaranteed $100,000 capital raise to start or grow a business. You'll find a good number of those people will pivot into Access to Capital. So what's the point here? You're seeing that what we're generating is a little bit of a different process flow that's going to earn you more money up front, which I'll show you in a second. And then secondly, be able to enroll even more people into Access to Capital. Okay, so here we attempted to summarize what white label means. And again, we've had separate training on that. But in essence, as I mentioned a moment ago, you're taking it out to the marketplace under your umbrella, under your branding, not under our branding. That's what white label means. And then secondly, you are picking the price that the client pays. It is up to you. You could charge them a lot, you could charge them little. It is up to you. So you're going to pitch it. You're going to collect the payment from the client. How do you collect the payment from the client? You're an entrepreneur. However you want to collect the payment. You want to take credit cards, PayPal, checks, Bitcoin, Venmo. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. It's your business. If you are a joint venture partner, a branch manager, a credit literacy educator, you are an entrepreneur. And this is the product or products you're taking to the marketplace. How you want to collect money from the client through the white label is up to you. But the point is, number 2, you would collect the payment from the client. and you keep everything above the 839. Well, where does the 839 come from? Well, it costs normally $939 for someone to go through the 60-day credit sweep. That's the processing fee that we're charged by the legal team that develops the documents, not credit repair, but they develop the documents, they charge for that. And so normally it's $939. Normally you'd make $100 commission if all you were doing is referring them into us. But with the white label, you get that net cost of $839. So thus anything that you charge above and beyond that is in your pocket. The most popular pricing model that I've seen most of you use, and again, it's up to you, is charging the client $1,999.99. Usually, again, it's up to you. Usually you're charging half of that up front when they enroll, and then the other half after the process is finished, after 60 days. People like that. People like to pay part of the bill after the results are seen. Some of you are offering then a prompt pay discount. Hey, it's only it's under $2,000, half now to get started, half when the process is finished, but we have a prompt pay discount. I can take $500 off of that if you want to enroll today and pay the full amount. So then you would be collecting the $1,500 in that example. But again, you control the white label pricing. I'm not telling you what you need to charge. So that's the white label process. Even better, and even if you've ignored everything that I've said so far, this next topic or subtopic is going to be really important. If they're enrolled in Access to Capital and they don't have any of the 3 C's, so we can get their first tranche financing through any external means, if they're actually going through the sweep, what we'll do is we'll hold off, we'll defer on collecting the refundable deposit until after they've completed the sweep, because at that point they're going to qualify for lots of financing options. Again, this is an issue, right? Because right now we have a lot of people enrolling into Access to Capital program, which is wonderful, but many of them have none of the 3 C's, and that's still okay. We're here to help them get from where they're at to where they need to be. But what's happening now is we get to the second week, the mentor helps them with the personal financial statement. We do the soft credit pull. We see what they're eligible for. If they're eligible for nothing else, then we offer the safety net loan, which is 0% interest. No one can argue about that, but it's $2,500. It's the $2,500 refundable deposit. They start making $100 payments. Not everybody's thrilled about that. They would rather get a first tranche of financing of 10 or 20 or 30 or 50,000 so they have working capital in addition to the cost of the loan package, the refundable deposit. So what I'm saying here is that if they are going through the 60-day credit sweep, we won't collect the deferred refundable deposit until after the conclusion of the 60-day sweep, because then they'll have at least one of the 3 C's. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let's go through the bottom of this, and then we're going to get to your questions and comments. So I think we would all agree that what I've just shared with you is very valuable for the clients, because if the clients want to be positioned to borrow money, they have to have at least one of the 3 C's. And the more of the 3 C's, the better, the more options they'll have, and often the lower cost of capital. So that's serving the client well. Let's talk about how this serves you well, how you benefit economically. Well, if you follow this process, you're going to generate an adult income, and we're going to define that as $10,000 a week. Not too good to be true. We're going to go through and break it down. $10,000 a week by helping 3 clients a week. You might say, oh goodness, I can't help 3 clients a week. Well, maybe not. But if you are a branch manager or a joint venture partner, there's absolutely no reason, because your current expectation is a lot more than 3 people a week. Look at your agreement. The expectation is a lot more than that. We're dropping the expected results down dramatically to make it even easier for you to attain the goal, and then secondly, to eliminate your cost. Okay, so where does 10,000 come from, you might ask? Well, we know that if you're doing the white label, You can charge whatever you want, but assuming that you're charging the normal 2,000 that most people are charging, then you're making over 1,000. I just rounded off for a round number, but you're making over 1,000 for each of those clients. Now, I realize that all of this cash flow doesn't go into your pocket immediately because, for instance, if you are doing the 50-50 mix, so you're collecting 1,000 when they enroll, the other 1,000 in 60 days, then you're not netting 1,000 on day one. But regardless, we're looking at revenue generated per client. Part of this is upfront, part of it is delayed through the client process. Okay, but let's just look at money generated per week. How do we get to the 10,000? Okay, $1,000 for each client enrolled in the white label credit suite. So that's 3,000 a week from that. And then what we're going to do is follow this process that we discussed earlier and do the best we can to get all of those people, or as many as possible, in the Access to Capital program once they're about 1 week into the sweep. And so with that, then as a joint venture / branch manager, you get 50% of the refundable deposit. So they're paying $2,500 in, which is a refundable deposit. They get it back. You get half of that, and you don't have to pay it back. It's pure profit to you. So at $1,250, half of the $2,500 times 3, now you've got another $3,750 coming in per week, in addition to the initial $3,000. If you are insurance licensed and writing the key person policy, you're generating around an extra $500 per KPP. If you're doing that 3 times a week, there's an extra $1,500. So now we got $1,500, $3,750, and $3,000, not quite to $10,000 a week yet. But as a joint venture partner / branch manager, we do a 50-50 split with you on the performance fee of the capital raised. So the client is paying 6%, which is very fair based upon the capital raised, and you're getting half of that, 3.3%. So that's another $3,000 from each client, obviously not day one, but during the course of the client. And that adds $9,000 weekly from those same 3 clients. So 9,000, I'm going to do the math just so it's easier for me to add up. 9,000 plus 3,750 puts us at 12,750. Add this, and that puts us at 15,750. And then add this, and it puts us darn close to 17,000. So when I say 10,000 weekly by helping 3 clients, that is actually a very conservative estimate based upon this model. Okay, last thing I have for you, and then we're going to get to your questions. You might say, well, this sounds great. I don't want to pay any more to be a joint venture or branch manager. This gets it to me for free. I want to do it. Or you might say, well, I used to be a branch or joint venture, but I've not been active, and now I owe money. I'm in default. I'm in compliance. Well, great. Do this. Get out of default. Get out of compliance. Stay out of court, because what we're going to do is kind of reset the clock and say, okay, just no worries. Let's get engaged. Let's get active. Let's help people. Let's generate an adult income for you, and we'll not proceed with compliance issues if that's your circumstance. But the bottom line is, well, how do I get started on this? This sounds great. Or you might even say, I'm not currently a branch manager or joint venture manager, but if I can make an adult income of 10 grand a week with no money out of pocket, freaking sign me up. Well, great. So no matter which category you're in, what you need to do to start the process is get your first white label client in, right? The first is always the most difficult in life. The first kiss, the first dance, the first white label client, the first of anything is the most difficult because we have less confidence, we don't have the experience, it's just more uncertain. But what successful people do is they get their first, and then the second and the third and the fourth come right along much easier. You've got to get the first. So the point is, get your first white label client, and we'll be here on a daily basis to do the training and support via Zooms. But you get your first one in, and that's going to put the first 1,000 in your pocket, right? So it's not taking that away. But once you've demonstrated you can do it at least once, then we'll go ahead and send you an addendum via DocuSign to be able to waive your branch/joint venture fees going forward. And if you're actually in default from the past, it'll also have a provision that as long as you're doing this, then we won't collect any past due amount. So this is, I think, very fair. Okay, so we're back to Q&A now. Let's find out what questions, comments, concerns any of you have. And our priority is to focus on this topic today because we're recording this, we're going to share it with others. We want to keep on topic. So Stefan asked a great question. So Stefan is currently not a branch manager nor a joint venture partner. He's a valued affiliate, I think credit literacy educator as well. So he's asking, okay, if we do this, can we mentor our own clients? And the answer is yes, because it's this role that is involved with working with the clients. And so if you do this, you'll get paid more, you'll earn an adult income, but you'll also be much more involved with the client relationship. You'll know status, you'll be in the flow. So absolutely, Stefan. And so I guess I should have mentioned that really. That's another reason maybe to consider following this model in addition to helping more people, and in addition to earning adult income for those of you that really have a desire to be more involved with the client implementation. That happens by being a joint venture partner. Thank you, Stefan, for that. All right, Stefan's got another question, which is bizarre to me. He asked, is creditworthiness by being a 2-year-old corporation? Well, credit is not based upon age of business. It's based upon demonstrated ability and willingness to service debts. So in other words, we've opened lines of credit or trade lines and we've paid on those as agreed. So the answer would be no, Stefan. Having a 2-year-old business has to do with time in business, age of business, which is valuable, but that is not credit worthiness. Surprised by that question. Okay, another question, which is a good one, and it's important to clarify. So what we're saying here is enroll 3 white label credit sweep clients a week. They don't need to be in Credit Boost. If you want to enroll them in Credit Boost as well, you can. But thank you for asking that. This is not predicated on enrolling anyone in Credit Boost. It's predicated on enrolling in the white label version of Credit Sweep. Thank you for that. And I should have delineated that. That was my omission. Peggy says, this is great. And yeah, she said other nice things. So this is good. And Peggy's picking up on it. And I'll just clarify again. We have to help clients that want to access capital through debt to have at least one of the 3 C's, right? They're not going to have a successful capital raise if they don't have one of the 3 C's. And so through the Access to Capital program, we say, well, that's fine. We'll work with you to get you from where you're at to where you need to be, but you have to have at least one of the 3 C's or no one's going to loan you money. And so now the best analogy I can give you is imagine that we all are managers or owners or board of directors of Tesla. And I'm far from Elon Musk, so I'm not inferring that. But here we are at a management or a board meeting. And I say, great, I've called you all together this morning because I have an exciting announcement. We have developed a new low-cost, low-weight battery that's going to help transform the electric vehicle market. That's huge. Well, now that we have the 60-day credit sweep, that is that new battery. That is that new missing resource that kept us from being able to get a lot of people funded or funded as much as they wanted because they lack creditworthiness. They couldn't get money loaned to them because they were not credible enough. We have that magic sauce, and it's not too good to be true. It's not secret. It's not a mystery. But now we have that ingredient that allows us to consistently get people funded that couldn't before because they had shitty credit. And so that's what this process is about. How can we help entrepreneurs get funded by improving dramatically, affordably, legally, transparently at least one of the 3 C's. So thank you, Peggy, for those nice comments. And Peggy's pointing out what Stefan did earlier. So this model here that we're discussing has to do with specifically enrolling at least 3 clients a week into the white label version of Credit Sweep. Now, what Peggy's pointing out is an accurate point. Not everyone needs Credit Sweep, and I realize that. It's not the right resource for everyone. I'm with you there. But that's true for McDonald's hamburgers or coronavirus vaccinations. I don't think that there's anything in life that meets everyone's needs. And so we certainly have a valuable resource, and there's a big underserved pent-up demand for it. But you're right, Peggy, not everyone needs Credit Sweep, and I'm not suggesting or implying that that's the case. Thank you for your point. All right, Kenny asked an interesting question, and it's a great learning moment for us. Kenny asked, well, can I get a link for the white label? Sure, produce your own link, Kenny, because white label means you're taking it out to the marketplace under your branding, under your umbrella, and you're promoting it, right, which is number 1, and you're closing it. So no, I don't have a link for your white label. You're the one that's responsible for promoting it under your umbrella. So there is not a link for the white label. And then he also asked, can he use his website to promote it? Of course, of course. So Scott's asking a great question. So this is an alternative to the current performance expectations. So currently, if you look at your branch manager or joint venture license agreement, if you're already in that role, you'll see that there's some production expectations. And what we're doing is substituting this instead of that. So we're lowering the production expectations and we're increasing your income. And thirdly, we're removing the cost of being a branch manager or joint venture partner. I mean, that's a pretty powerful combination. Why are we doing it? Because we want to help more clients and we want to help you earn more money. Thank you, Scott, for that question. Marcelina, beautiful name, says, she says, will we still get working capital for the joint venture partner? So sure, certainly, yes. So if you want to be a joint venture partner, we will still help you raise capital. If you want a physical office, have a physical office. If you don't want to have a physical office, don't do that. But yes, we will certainly help you raise capital for your business, which in this case, Marcelina, is a joint venture / branch office. Yes, ma'am. Scott asked about the $100 per hour. So that's still the same. Yes, we will continue to pay the mentors as we have $100 an hour to mentor the orphan clients. Yes, sir. All right. Dion had a client yesterday that doesn't have business credit. Well, nothing that I've discussed here is predicated on the client having business credit. So that's not an obstacle. It's really not even a consideration. It's not a problem, not an issue. And yes, Greg, we'll work on your email. Okay, so did we cover what you need to know to understand this new significant announcement? I'll attempt to summarize, answer any remaining questions you have, and then we'll close out. So what we want to do is eliminate the cost of being a joint venture partner. Used to be called a branch manager. We want to eliminate that expense. So how do we do that? By setting a very low threshold that shows that you have some minimal level of activity, and that minimal level of activity is based around helping at least 3 clients a week, 12 a month, but specifically it goes week by week, 3 clients a week. So what happens is you get then the opportunity to be a joint venture partner / branch manager, not have to pay the normal $50,000, used to be $100,000 for that role. So you're getting that for free. You're earning more income per client. And if you follow this very simple model, then you're earning over $10,000 a week. That's pretty good, right? So if you don't have any outlay, but you're generating, about $500,000 a year by helping people with a credible, legal, legitimate, ethical, transparent, guaranteed program, that's a pretty good model. And so again, this is applicable to those of you that are not currently a joint venture branch manager. You can start off like this. This is applicable to those of you that are currently involved and active. This will save you money. And then third, for those of you that maybe started in the past, but you didn't stick with it, you're not compliant, this is a way out of that situation you're in. So again, you don't have any additional expenses, but in fact, you generate a whole lot more money. So that is the summary of what we covered here. There's some questions that some of you are asking that are not related to the topic today. So we'll get back tomorrow and we will talk about those. But any other specific questions that anyone has on this point specifically? All right. So again, think about it, pray about it, consider it, but it is a legitimate offer to help those of you that want to be more involved, to earn more income, to have more control, to know more about what's going on with clients, to be able to be in that leadership role with no expense and greater income. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.